fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new silver excuse, I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Q Show here, and now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Izuku Midoriya, and well, we also did have the Todoroki family, where a lot of things have been going on. Now, in the last part, Midoriya had a heart-to-heart with Endeavor. And Endeavor, he decided to take some of Midoriya's advice. Instead of doing what he would usually do, where he'd either ignore you, scream at you, or just quite blatantly punch the fuck out of you, or just beat you down since you don't really listen to him, Endeavor took Midoriya by his heart. And he actually reached out to Todoroki. Instead of him going on another hero patrol and worrying about his ranking, he spent some time with his son. And Todoroki himself felt strange about all that. Now, with that being said, we also do have where Todoroki, he talked to his mother about all this. And things did begin to seem to get better. Now, we do currently have Izuku Midoriya, where today, UA, they are announcing that they are doing their summer training camp. Now, UA does offer a ride on the bus, along with actually covering certain fees. Along with that, you do have where UA is also giving information to the students. If they cannot make it on the bus trip, then they at least have to be able to drive out there. They are college students after all. Some of them should have vehicles. And they all do need to make sure to get things sorted out with their work schedules, if they do have part-time or full-time jobs. Now, with that being said, we do have where Midoriya, he is going to be taking the bus, or so he does think. We have Midoriya, who is currently being wished goodbye by his mother. Her talking about how she's very proud of him and that he's going to, well, come back home safe, isn't he? Mom, come on. You're embarrassing me in front of my classmates. Besides, I'm just going on a, well, trip, that's all. I'll be gone for 2 weeks maximum. I know, Izuku, but it's just... You know I worry. You're a strong, capable young man, yes. But I'm your mother. It's my job to worry. Yeah, sorry, Mom. Now, as it does happen, we do have where Todoroki, he does come walking up. As you have Endeavor. And Fuyumi. Now, Endeavor, he does go to look over in the direction, as Inko, she does give Endeavor somewhat of a glare. Now, this is where Endeavor, he does come to walk towards the direction, and Inko, she immediately feels regret for giving Endeavor the glare. Now, Fuyumi, she does go to walk forwards, as you do actually have where Todoroki, he does grab her by her arm and tell her just to watch what happens next. You can't be serious. They're going to get in another fight. I have to stop this. No, they're not. Just watch. He's been acting different lately. What are you talking about? Now, Fuyumi does turn back, as she has watched her father stand in front of Inko Midoriya. That tiny woman is currently in front of the number 2 pro hero. As the man does look down at her before he does take a breath. Enko, standing there sweating bullets, as Endeavor he does bow his head and apologize. Everyone on the bus and around the entire area, all either doing a double take, spit take, or just having their jaws dropped to the ground. And there is Fuyumi, who she's just staring at her father for a second with a confused look. As it finally does click in her head exactly what her dad just did. Since never in a million years did she expect to see that. Now, you also do have Inko, who she just does try to wave it off as, yeah, everything's fine, just don't worry about it. Now, Endeavor, he would talk about how he has learned from his mistakes, and he will try to approach her with respect, along with her son. In fact, he believes that they should redo that whole scenario once more, and that he can actually hold dinner at his house this time. Now, Fuyumi is, well, shocked by that as well, as Enko would just say that that does sound like a lovely idea. Now, as that entire interaction is done with, you do have where Endeavor he does hop onto the bus, along with Todoroki, as he does wish his little sister goodbye. And we do have where Midori he's just staying there with Fuyumi. So, when exactly did my dad start doing that? Apologize to people? Yeah, I'm so confused. Probably whenever he came to my work and interrupted me. He did what? No, listen. Me and him talked. And actually, you can expect him to start treating you differently too. What does that mean? It means that your father approves of me. He talked with me. I talked with him. He took my advice, even though I pissed him off. I'm guessing something happened with your brother too. Yeah. He told me the other day that him and Dad went to dinner or lunch. I don't know. It's just that doesn't seem very much like him. I know. I gave him some advice. Hopefully it helps to sort him out a bit. Now, Mr. Aizawa would ask Izuku Midoriya if that young man is going to get on the bus, or is he going to be taking a vehicle? I'll be right there, Mr. Aizawa, sir. Now, you do have where Fuyumi does kiss Midoriya, and tell him to have a safe trip. Midoriya smiling, telling her that he's gonna be right back. After that, then maybe they can go on another date. Maybe. But why? Why? I'm the luckiest man in the world, that's why. With you by my side, I feel indestructible. No one can take me down. Now, Fuyumi, she does just blush as her face turns bright red. Midoriya turning and flying towards the bus, as he does bring his hand up and wave Fuyumi off. Now, Midoriya does get on the bus as he would go to sit down next to Todoroki. And you do actually have where a few people are asking exactly what happened. As Midoriya he does look in front to see Endeavor who's staring at the two, before he quickly does change where he's looking. Not very much. In fact, I was just talking to her. Yeah. So, would you happen to know why my father's acting differently? Now, Midoriya would explain the same thing to Todoroki as he did Fuyumi. And you do actually have where Todoroki, he does find it to make a little bit more sense. Endeavor does follow what the strong do say. And since Midoriya's beat him in a fight, that at least does make sense in his mind. Not realizing that Endeavor is actually trying to change on his own. It is difficult for him, since this does mean that he has to do stuff he's not used to, and it makes him very uncomfortable. Now, eventually the bus does get to its destination, and we do have where everyone does get out and go to stretch, as they're all talking about this and this, how they still have a few, well, they still have a few miles to go, and at least another hour or so. Now, this would be whenever the Wild Wild Pussycats, they do arrive. And we actually do have where everyone, they are standing by the cliff. And we do have Midoriya and Todoroki who are both standing there. As Midoriya, he does have a thought in his mind. And he wants to hear Todoroki's opinion on it. Him and Fuyumi, they've been dating for, well, a bit of time right now, and with how things are going, they're good. The idea has crossed into his mind before, but he doesn't know if she'd be alright with it. Hey, Todoroki? Midoriya to say looking over the cliff. What is it? There's something I want to ask you. Go ahead. It's about me and Fuyumi. You see, I think it would be this being where the Wild Wild Pussycats, they announced their presence by creating a landslide. Now, as it does happen, Midoriya, the moment his feet do give way underneath him, he immediately would go to grab Todoroki, who is to his right, before flying up into the sky. Now, as it does happen, Midoriya and Todoroki, they both do spin around. And Midoriya, he does look to see the Pussycats. My, that guy's quick. Along with that, he looks pretty cute. Mandalay, down. Aw, come on, I want to have some fun too. Besides, I'm getting so bored with this whole hero stuff. Well, do that on your own time. Besides, I've heard about that one. What do you mean? That's the one dating Endeavor's daughter. Wait, are you serious? Crap, I bet he has some stories to tell. Now, Mandalay, or whoever caused the avalanche, just tell Midoriya that he's very quick. Midoriya talking about how he kind of has to be with reflexes like his. Now, Aizawa would inform Midoriya that he needs to put Todoroki down. Why? Easy. This is part of the training. Him beginning to explain it, before telling Midoriya that he can get there on his own. However, he cannot carry people. And if he does decide to carry people, then they are going to increase the amount of enemies that are in the area. So, Midoriya either has to stay and fight with his class, or he can go ahead as a lone wolf. What is his choice? Now, Midoriya would smirk at that statement, as he does proudly announce to Class 1A that all of them are getting to that area right now. And everyone they do turn to Midoriya's direction. Midoriya, him quickly running through and tapping on everyone's shoulder. As you have where Midoriya, he does get directly back by Todoroki. Midoriya, what were you going to ask me? Oh, never mind. We'll talk about that later. Maybe I shouldn't have brought it up to him first. The avalanche wasn't too bad of a thing then. Now, with that being said, this would be whenever Aizawa, he does tell the Pussycats that they do have the go-ahead for more enemies, as they do begin to increase the amount that are in the forest. As Class 1A, they begin to work as a unit. Midoriya, he's quickly shifting around people into places where they can attack. Close-range fighters like Kirishima and many other different people, they are given specialized positions. Kirishima, he has the best position for his quirk. He is their battering ram. Midoriya, he did ask Kirishima if it was alright beforehand. And Kirishima, he did tell Midoriya to just simply do his worst. To which Midoriya, he did presently do. by throwing him through a rock monster, several trees, into the dirt, and then he pulled him back like a yo-yo to repeat the process. Before they all did arrive, within Aizawa's time frame. Now, with that being said, we do have where everybody, they do begin the process of training their quirks. And they all do make good progress. Many of their quirks already are stronger than they were in the original canon. Kirishima's, for example, he has many more years of experience. At least 3 to 4, meaning he at least had time to train his quirk and catch up to everyone where he was from canon. And even Bakugo's quirk was stronger. And many others. Like Jiro, Mina, Tokoyami, and even Todoroki. Now, everyone did begin their training, and we actually will cut up to the end of the 2 weeks, where Midoriya, he's been training with Endeavor, along with Aizawa. Aizawa did tell Midoriya and express to him the idea of overusing his quirk, especially with the way his affects his brain. Now, Endeavor, he did deal with somewhat of the physical portion of Midoriya's training. However, Aizawa did open up the avenue to different things. If Midoriya is ever put in a position where he is unable to use his quirk, then he must be able to fight physically. And Midoriya, he did begin to have an idea. The capture scarf Aizawa uses. If Midoriya can cover that in his quote-unquote invisible flames, or the flames that he can then use to get people on, and then use his, telekinesis in, he can have a bigger advantage. Along with that, he can control and manipulate them. It doesn't matter how heavy the material could be, he can always use his quirk to carry it. Additional training, and an actual weapon and equipment to use. This being where Midoriya, he would bring this idea up to Momo. And she does somewhat find it to be a little bit more fascinating. She did begin the process of making it. However, the material it was made out of was tricky for her to somewhat figure out. She began with a basic ballistic gel, or at least a synthetic polymer laced within carbon fiber. However, her entire problem was getting it to be flexible. And then she did have ideas. Individual strands that are woven together and held together at certain points that are stronger and flame resistant. This would take longer to create, but with how complex it is a good challenge for her to train her quirk on. And she did begin this process. Now, there is also the part where the 2 weeks have passed. Midoriya has finally gotten this scarf or weapon equipment, and he actually is surprised at how light it was. Whenever Momo first handed it to him, he expected it to be a lot tougher to handle. However, it really wasn't. Now, we do have the night where everyone is going through the strength of courage. They're all talking about how they can just run through the woods and do anything. And many of them are talking about how they can do these things, and these things. If they wanted to, they can have a full-on party out here if they wanted. Since, hey, there's no one around for miles. No one can complain about the noise or whatever. People could have fun out here. And then there was whenever the forest got attacked. Now, let us cut over to another Todoroki's point of view. As we do have Toya Todoroki, the one who is believed to be dead. This guy has heard a lot of stories, and he's seen a few things. Apparently, that fight his brother and this Midoriya guy had during the sports festival. It was very intense for a reason. Then there's the fact that he looked into it a bit more. The history those two have. His father fought this guy. He knows some of that, since his father works at UA now. And then there's the fact that this guy saved his sister twice. And, just from browsing around online a bit, he's found a picture of him and his sister. So, there's something going on there. He wants to meet this guy for himself and make sure this is not his father's doing. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing night. Catch you guys in the next part.